So first, I want to introduce myself. My name's Terry Van Balen. I've been with AVSimulation for about 6 months. As you can see on the map here, we've got our main location over here just outside of Paris. We've also got offices in Nagoya in Japan and right here in Detroit in Michigan. I'm based in Michigan, so I'm pre-sales for the North American side. So first, I just want to do, after this introduction, I want to get a little hands-on, show you what SCANeR can do, what we're about at AVSimulation, and then of course we'll have some time for some Q&A at the end. So let's go ahead. So first we want to ask, what exactly did AVSimulation make SCANeR for? What was our goal with making SCANeR? We understand your challenges, and we understand the challenges of people you work with and everyone's partners. Some of those challenges include the complexity of vehicles. More and more vehicles are getting complex these days. There's more and more safety constraints. Obviously, we want to all reduce the time to market, and we want to ease the increasing development costs that we're seeing, especially in the past few years. And we at AV Simulation, we understand and we believe thoroughly that simulation is the answer to all these issues. So our goal is to bring you a solution that addresses all these issues while still remaining simple to use without being too complicated. Here are some scanner applications. As you can see, there's a lot of different applications in different domains, things that you are probably familiar with. SCANeR is a simulation engine for automotive studies, and the important thing is that even though we have all of these applications, SCANeR is one tool that you're able to use. So the important part is that there's not a necessity to bring a lot of other outside tools in. We want to design and continue to promote a product that can answer all of your needs while remaining one simple, easy to use tool. With SCANeR, it's definitely easy to share all resources with other people you're working with in a project. So for all test cases, you only need one simulation platform that can be used in parallel with other people you're working with on similar projects. We say that SCANeR has a four-step process. So the first step is design. For example, environment. Of course, within SCANeR Studio, you can design your environment yourself from scratch in our terrain editor. We also do GIS imports, OpenDrive here, TomTom, OpenStreetMaps, and others. We also offer a range of default assets that you can use and build off of on your own. Of course, then you have to design the actors, the things that are going to be acting within your scenarios. So there's the ego vehicle, of course, with which we offer a vehicle dynamics model or a callus model. We also like to play nice with other third parties. So Car Real Time, Car Sim, Car Maker, and others, you can import those models and use those with SCANeR as well. We offer default vehicles on top of that. So with our callus models, we offer a wide range of vehicles such as family vehicles, two doors, trucks, trailers, racing, um, sports vehicles, as well as pedestrians and animals that you can add to your environments to make them more realistic. All actors behave by themselves. With our, we have a module that controls traffic, so you don't have to go out of your way to design or import all your other traffic modules. Well, of course, then there's the scenario design. So you need to design what you do to control all of the events within your scenario. And then, of course, we have our model design phase. So this is our sensors, our projectors, and then much more. Then, of course, there's the integrate step of the process. So if you do have your own models you want to use, whether you're using FMI or maybe you're using ROSE or maybe MATLAB, Simulink, C++, Python, LabVIEW, any other kind of programming language, we do like to integrate those. That's definitely possible within SCANeR. Then, of course, there's the simulation phase. So whatever kind of simulation you're doing, whether you're just doing maybe driver in the loop for testing, maybe designing your own hardware, working with real-time platforms to make sensors, maybe just using some models or software, every step of the way, SCANeR's got you covered. And then, of course, there's the analysis phase. So you want to get all your KPIs, get all your metrics, get everything you've recorded, and analyze those. SCANeR is open and modular. Here you could see in this blue square here, this is everything that is within the SCANeR simulation platform. So you have the studio itself, where you'll do all of your building simulation. We also have the vehicle dynamics models and sensors models that we offer, all of this within here. Then, of course, you have the other models that come with SCANeR. So your actors, drivers, sensors, environments, scenarios. We also do offer in-cab scenarios that follow the in-cab industry standards. Then with our SCANeR SDK, this is where you dive into any of your own developed software in the loop, anything you've made, your vehicle dynamics models, these can all, through the SCANeR SDK, these can all be integrated within SCANeR. Then of course we have our add-ons. So of course, with our foundation pack, it's everything you need to run SCANeR, and then we offer a wide variety of other packages for any other use case you have, whether it be real-time targets, building vehicle dynamics, 3D environment creation, maybe AD/ADAS applications. Of course, right now I'm running on a Windows running on a Windows desktop. We are also able to be used on Linux, or if you want to distribute it across multiple PCs, we do offer a solution for that if you're using multiple Linux PCs as well. So in our SCANeR product family, of course, the most important, we have Studio. This is where you're doing everything I mentioned before, building your scenarios, integrating your models, making sure everything runs fine. Then we have a catalog that we offer. So here's some different kinds of default scenarios we offer for testing with our catalog. Then with our other program, SCANeR Explore, you can import various scenarios from your catalog and then use Explore to create and modify any of the maybe pass-fail criteria or parameters that you want to test within that. And then what Explore will do is it'll take all those different iterations and then it'll export a batch of many different scenarios. So then if you want to go into massive simulation with SCANeR Compute, you would use SCANeR Compute to solve, we call it the solver version of SCANeR, to compute all of these. And then you would have to, of course, you would have an analytics tool that you can analyze all of your results with. So, of course, this is the main SCANeR GUI. Just within this GUI, everything you can make, here's some examples of some things you can do with SCANeR. So here you can see different examples of some simulators that we offer, whether it be just some static simulators or some completely full car body simulators on XY rails with multiple degrees of freedom. Here's some example of some of the beautiful scenes you can create now thanks to our new UXD renderer. So let's get a little more hands-on. So right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop my screen share, and then I'm going to start again with a SCANeR window. All right. So I think now you should be able to see my SCANeR window. So this is what it looks like. There's the main GUI in SCANeR. So first, what I want to do is take a look at. Oh, give me 1 second. Sorry. Okay. So first, I want to take a look at what SCANeR is made up of. So of course, we have these different modes up here in the corner. So we have terrain mode, vehicle mode, scenario mode, simulation mode, and analysis. I'll go over these in a little more detail in a little bit. First, let's just take a look at a basic scenario. So down here we have our modules that are arranged into what we call configurations. So here in the configuration manager, you can see all of these modules are built into a configuration I have saved. So let's say I have modules that I want to use for a certain simulation, a certain type of simulation. I can save all of these into a configuration. And then if I have different kinds of simulations I want to run, I can do these with a different configuration I save. When I say module, this is one of the reasons that we say SCANeR is very modular. These modules are what run the EXEs that need to be run. So for example, these run the processes that are what make up SCANeR. So the SCANeR module will run, or the scenario module will run the program that initiates the scenario. And all the data are shared between these modules. They're all in SCANeR shared memory, so you can kind of pick and pull from them when you need to. So for this simulation, I'll go ahead and double click the modules I need to get them running. So of course I need scenario. It's going to control what happens in the scenario itself. Model handler, this is what controls our callus vehicle dynamics model. And of course traffic is going to control the other vehicles I have outside. Here on the left, you can see all the actors that are involved. So my ego vehicle number 0 right here, and then I have all of the other ones that are controlled by traffic, and then also walker traffic, which controls the pedestrian models. And then of course I want to see what I'm doing, so I'll also load UX render. We also have this visual module that you'll see is enabled by default. This is for our old OSG open scene graph rendering, but you can use UX render to run in Unreal. So once you've got all the modules running you need, you can start with this green play button at the top. I'll go ahead and click on the UXD engine again. So you can see we've got a city scene. My ego vehicle's got a first-person view right now. You can see pedestrians here, traffic lights. Looks like they're following traffic properly. If we go out of here and look at the overhead view, you can see if you click on other actors in the scenario here on the tree on the left, you can see what they're doing. So we've got a trailer here. Maybe we can go look at some pedestrians. Of course, you can zoom in and out and move around on this main view here. You can see that I didn't have to do anything. I didn't have to program any traffic. I didn't have to set anything up. They're all respecting traffic laws, and they're all doing what they should be doing in respect to traffic and safety rules. So let's stop this now. Sorry, you might be able to hear my computer fans. The UX render can be a little bit taxing. So now I'd like to go and take a look at each mode individually. So once we've stopped a scenario, I can also stop with this X. I can stop all of my modules so they don't take up so much of my CPU. So first, let's go over and check out terrain mode. So first thing that's going to happen, we want to open a new terrain because I'll build one from scratch. Um, I think personally terrain mode is pretty easy to use. It's pretty easy to get your own terrains built. You can also, of course, go over into the import menu. And here's if you take a look at the drop down menu here, here's some of the things that can be imported. So we've got OpenStreetMaps, shapefiles, OpenDrive, and several others. So first thing I want to do is make sure I can see the roads that I'm building. So I'll enable road 3D generation, intersection 3D generation, and then the road signs and objects. These are just layers that if there's something you don't need to be seeing at any time, to save some GPU power, you can just enable them or disable them at your own discretion. So here on the left, I have a list of road types. I've got just straight curves, and then there's curves that use different kind of calculations that can be used for different situations. So I can just drag and drop now that I have this tool selected. And because I have road 3D generation enabled, now you can see this is the actual 3D of the road. I can make a curve here. Just make, whatever I want, go back to the select tool, and then we could take a look. If I enable the road logical content, this shows the actual logic of the road, so which way traffic's going, what kind of lanes you have. So if you click on different lanes, you can see down here on the bottom of the right, it's paved, what kind of vehicles can run on it, what the speed limit is, what the kind of ground it's made of. We can also go into the profile menu. Of course, you can click the profile button up here, but if you want to choose a profile to edit directly, for example, you can right click on one of these blue hairs that sticks out of the end, and then you can, for example, edit profile or edit as new. I'll just edit this one. So here you see the overhead view. This is where we'll actually change what kind of what makes up the road, what elements design this road. So of course here on both sides we have a sidewalk. You can click any of the lines and you'll be shown the marking properties, or here the pavement properties themselves, including the material name, the ground name. You can set the size of each lane. You can add decorations, and actually you can set the height of the lanes too. That's how we have the curbs made here. So if you zoom in real close, you can see that, well, they're really close together. The height is different, and that's what makes up the curb. So let me go back in the access menu. Didn't actually change anything here. If you're trying to do things like make intersections, of course, you can insert an intersection represented by this little yellow dot, and then you can join different roads to it manually. What you can also do is just right click. If you've got two intersecting roads like I have here, you can just right click on the axis and then have it detect an intersection. So this is another easy way to just make an intersection. Not a lot of work involved. Of course, we've got our resources as well. So I mentioned that we have animals, pedestrians. Of course, these also count in scenarios, but in your terrain themselves, we offer a wide variety of buildings, road signs, things like trees, cracks that can go on the road. Of course, you can design these yourself as well, and import them within SCANeR. And as a service, we can also build them for you. But there's a pretty exhaustive list of different kinds of, and these are French right now, but we also have American, Australian, and signs for other regions. So you can just drag and drop, add those anywhere. The last thing I want to show you real quick is the actual shape of the road themselves. So if I show you the road right now, you'll see that it's just flat, kind of along the path that I built. For example, if I click on the axis here and go into the dual window mode, if I click down here on the bottom, you'll see the layers changed to road altitude and road banking. So I've got this axis clicked on, so that means that this part of the road is being represented by here. So here you can actually add handles and move them around how you like to change the elevation of the road. Now, if I get rid of road altitude and then go to road banking, which is represented by this blue line, I'll click on this one instead so it's easier to see. So this time, if I insert a handle and move it around, this actually changes the tilt of the road. So you can see it kind of twists. And then, of course, the specifics for how these are all set, and then a list is also down here. So when you need to look at all of them maybe in a row. So let me go back to the one window view. I'll go back to my top view. And I want to use this terrain within a scenario. So what I'm going to do is first, I need to generate the 3D for the terrain. So I'll export a 3D visual, and I'll just call this, how about we'll just call it get started after today's event. So I'll call that get started. And today I also want to generate some automatic terrain. You can see that's just kind of a black background, not much going on there. If I click on generated terrain and then click OK, of course you have all the other options of what exactly you want to export in here. It'll ask me if I want to make a contour. All this does is it's for me to choose an area. So the square around the terrain, what that's going to do is going to generate the square around my terrain, and then within that, it'll generate automatic background terrain. And now this is just a texture. You can choose the texture. You can also, of course, you can generate this 3D on your own, however you like. But we do offer that automatic texture generation. So now I'll save this, and I have to choose a name. So I'll call it Get Started again. So for the IVE, this is the 3D terrain. I want to save this as an RND, so I'll just keep it how it is. Actually, no, I'll call it Get Started. There we go. So now this is saved, and I can use it in my simulation. Before we go check out the simulation, I want to go look at the vehicle mode. So of course, with the foundation pack, just the very basic version of SCANeR Studio, we offer a wide variety of callus models that you can use in your simulations. However, you will not be able to edit them. So you will need the vehicle dynamics pack to edit them yourself. So for example, if I open, let's go to default, callus, and let's just pick one. How about just motorsport? So this is one of our sports vehicles. Here you have all of the properties that might be associated with the vehicle dynamics model. So anything between the chassis, suspension, engine, gear, ratios, tires, anything like that. So for example, if I go maybe into the engine, I can edit a multitude of things here. So this is just generalities based on the engine. Here are the torque tables. So how much torque is being generated depending on the engine speed of the RPM. You can model these yourself. So this is what you'll be doing in vehicle mode. Scenario mode is, of course, what we saw earlier. This is where you'll design your scenario. And then simulation mode is where you run your simulation. And then, of course, scenario and simulation mode are kind of similar. You can actually do what you need to do to design your scenario within simulation mode. So before we look at analysis mode, let's look at a new simulation. So let me close this one. And then what I want to do is open a new simulation. And I want to use get started R&D. I want to use the R&D we made earlier. There we go. So this is the R&D we made earlier. So I want to use this. Taking a little bit of extra time here. There we go. Looks like it's good. All right. So as you remember, this is the R&D we made before. So I want to make a really basic, let's let's say I want to make a basic terrain or a basic scenario that has a pedestrian running out in front of a car. So let's say first I want to do is populate this. So here I want to use a Callus vehicle as my main car. It uses our vehicle dynamics model. I'll just use this one called executive car. Put it here on the road. Um, anything here to add, it's really simple. You just drag and drop. Let's say I want to add some other traffic vehicles because I need it to be a little more realistic. Let's add a few here. Maybe I can add one of these. Of course, it's a little bit annoying if I want to make a realistic traffic simulation to drag and drop every time I want to make a scenario. Thankfully, you don't have to do that. So if I go down here to swarm and trailer, I can make my ego vehicle what we call the queen of a swarm. And what this will do is generate automatically all the other traffic vehicles that are surrounding the non-ego vehicles. So let's say I have 10 vehicles. I'll use a city distribution. And let's say for alive beings, this is pedestrians. Let's just say I want to use 5. And then hit the populate button. You can see on the left, the list is starting to populate. We can hit OK, and then we'll see indeed all of these have been generated. It's a little more simple. While we're in here, actually, within this menu, we can go to the driver menu, or sorry, the vehicle menu also. Let's say I want some of these cars to be not really super good drivers. Maybe I want them to be a little reckless. Within the driver menu, here you have all of the autonomous behavior and then human interaction. This is in case you will be using like a driver in the loop. But here, with all of our autonomous behavior, you can see all these different settings. So they properly observe signs, priority, emergency vehicles, so they'll pull over if there's an emergency vehicle. You can turn all these off. You can also set various settings like their safety time, their overtake risk, how reckless they are in terms of staying in the middle or the center of the lane. So maybe they swerve a little bit. And all these can be done here. You don't have to actually make it in your scenario. So it's really easy to use this uh, in our traffic module to work that way. So now that I've got my ego vehicle, my other vehicles, I'm going to add one more pedestrian over here on the pedestrians tab. I'm just going to add this here. So you can see this person added is right here on the sidewalk. And what I want to do is make this person kind of run out in front of me when I get a little close. And to do that, I'm going to use something that we call a trigger. So right here in our traffic tools tab, I have trigger. I can drag and drop this. You can see the shape of it now. And I think it's important to keep your trigger names and actually names of everything clean, just so you know what you're doing when you're looking at the script. So I'll call this ped cross for pedestrian cross. So now what we want to do is take a look within our script. We want to generate a script. So first, in our storyboard, I want to add a step. And then within our step, we have this scripts tab. You can import your Python scripts if you feel more comfortable making scripts within Python. You can import those, no problem. We also have our own language called mice. It's really easy to use. I'll show you a little bit about it right now. So once you've got it generated, you just want to double click it. And it's really cause and effect style. I want to say programming here. And actually, when I first learned about mice, I knew nothing about programming at all, and I was able to use this pretty effectively within a day. So it's pretty easy to learn. So what we want to do first is generate a rule, and then a condition. So my condition is going to be that trigger is interacted with, right? So we have is triggered by vehicle. That's what I want to use. And then within here, you set the parameters. So the trigger is the one I made earlier. It's called ped cross. And then I want the triggering vehicle to be my ego vehicle. So these can stay the same. And then here, I'll change this to becomes true because we want this to be just on and off. So once this is true, then the effect will happen. And if you ever need any help with anything in the script, you can always hit the help button. There's a really detailed anything that happens, any of the script parameters that you need help with, you can click on any of them and it'll show you how to set them up. So I'll hit OK here. So this is my if, this is my conditional statement. So now I right click my rule again and I want to make a then action. So the action I want is the pedestrian to cross the road. For this one, you can start to type them down here and they'll show up. For this one, I just want to use pedestrian cross road, of course. So hit OK. Now this time, the vehicle actually is the pedestrian I want to use. So I'll change this to What was the name? Actually, let me go back because I forget the name of this pedestrian we're using. Click on him here. So this was 19. So the ID was 19. If you remember the ID, you should be good. So I'll go back here, and I want to find 19 right here at the bottom. And then this is the crossing angle. So this will be a 90-degree angle, perpendicular to the already going directions, the direction they're already going. So right now, he'll be going parallel to the road. 90 degrees will just make him cross the road straight. That's what we want. So that's all we needed here. If it's triggered by vehicle, then the pedestrian crosses. We can go back. I can save this scenario, and you have to name it. So let's say ped cross. And then we can just start all of the modules that we need. So course scenario to run what's going on. Model handler for the vehicle dynamics model. And then of course walker traffic, and then traffic for the rest of them. And then I can use UXD render for the visual. So again here, I'll hit play. Ooh, sorry, it looks like I need acquisition. So I can actually control this myself. You can see the acquisition right here, the acquisition window. So let me bring that up. You can see here on the acquisition window, I'm using my keyboard right now, so I won't be the best driver, but you can see the accelerator and the steering wheel angle change. Okay, so there's a pedestrian. Now he's crossing the road because I started right next to the trigger. So what I want to do is I want to pause that, and then I want to show you again with the overhead view, so I'll turn off UXD render. So I'll start it again, and then you can look at when the vehicle right here, the ego vehicle, crosses into the trigger. Right there, it turned green, and then you see the pedestrian start to cross. So that's how simple that is. Really quick, now I'll load the recorder module, run this one more time, and I can drive a little crazier this time because I want to show this works in record mode. Okay, so I can stop this. So now that I had the recorder module running on the last one, let's go over to analysis mode and then take a look at that recording. So here I'll bring down the drop-down menu. Where'd it go? You can also find it from here. Let me do that one more time. It looked like it didn't actually record properly, so let me restart this and run it one more time. Right, that run for a little bit. Now I can stop it. As I said, you can go into the analysis mode and then click. You can also, on the recordings tab here, you can find it up in here. So this is our SCANeR record. I can double click that. So this is our record window. The first thing I want to do is show you the different views. So I'll go to view here, and let's look at the new engineering view. So right away, you can see these views are quite different. So this shows the scene according to how it looks in the SCANeR window. This window shows all of the engineering aspects you might be interested in. So first, if I hold Shift and Control, I can go in the or Control and then right click. I can go in the options here. So these are all the parts of the car you'll be able to see. The wheel lines, body lines, anything here, the sensors, whatever you've got going on. You can see here. You can also adjust what kind of dashboard you have. So here I've got it overlapping. You can do minimized, split screen, however you want. I think overlapping looks the best. There's a lot of other settings you can change in here too. What's really cool to note here is that you have this slider that you can drag, and it'll show you exactly where you are, what's going on in the simulation at that time in both views. You can zoom in and out. Of course, you can adjust your view in any way, however you need. Um, and I think what's most interesting here is that the graphs you can make. So let's make a new graph. And let's say for time, so time is already on by default. And then in my executive car, let's say I also want to do commands, and then I want to see the gas pedal. There we go. So hit OK. And then right now I'll have this graph generated that shows the force on the gas pedal in accordance with time. Now what's really cool is if you hold right click and actually slide around, when you hold right click and slide around the simulation, you can choose. So let's say, oh, I want to know um, the gas pedals at this certain amount of force at this time. You can kind of right click on it and it'll show you exactly where that is in the simulation. Let's say I want to add another one. I can go here. How about steering wheel angle? So that should be down in command as well. Steering wheel angle. There we go. So anytime, maybe I could look at when I was holding right or left on the steering wheel. You could do that too. Of course, there's a wide multitude of different things you can put in your graph. Everything that's recorded into SCANeR. Um, maybe I want to look down here in the options and see my speed vectors. So now here I can see, okay, here's how fast I was going at certain points. So it's just really customizable. It's a really easy way to look at your recordings. So yeah, I'm going to stop my screen share real quick. I'll go back. A few more things I want to get through, and then we can get to the Q&A. So let me switch my screen really quick. All right, and now I should be back on. So let me go and continue. Let's talk a little about the SCANeR philosophy. So first, openness is really important to us. We want it to be able to play nice with other programs. We know that, well, of course, we would like everyone to use things that we offer. We know that's not entirely realistic. People have their own vehicle dynamics models. People have models they've been working with for a long time. So we want SCANeR to play nice with those things. We also offer massive simulation, a huge plus for us. Something that's been really important in the industry recently. So with SCANeR Explore and SCANeR Compute, it's easier to generate your test plans, generate your scenarios, make your batches, and then compute them. We have complete and efficient tools, so everything you need to do can definitely be done with SCANeR. It's supposed to be the one all be all tool for everything. Of course, our simulation models for our callus models, our models for our headlights, our models for our sensors are made by people who have been making these things for a long time. We consider them best in class. Of course, we have our efficient user interface. Of course, there's a learning curve to anything that's going to be complicated like simulation, but we like to think that SCANeR is really easy to use once you get the hang of it. And of course, we're working every time we have a new release, we're always working on making it more and more user friendly. And then, of course, the flexibility. Anything you can do or anything you want to do, you can do with SCANeR. So these are the services we offer at each stage of our simulation lifecycle. So we offer a complete proposal of services to help at any stage of your project, whether it's just the advice from planning. Do I need simulation? How do I use simulation? What kind of simulation or simulator is effective for me? Then of course getting all of your system built. The integration phase, making sure everything works, teaching you how to use it, and then of course the operation phase. So maintenance, training, things like that. Recently, also now we have a really good deal that we give to people who this is only available to people who have just bought SCANeR licenses, but we do now offer startup assistance. So this will be helping you get started with SCANeR and making sure that as soon as you purchase SCANeR, as soon as you are ready to have it running, that you're not wasting any time just learning what you should be doing, that you can immediately get going. We offer this for only up to 5 days for 700 a day. And like I said, some of the activities are installation, deployment, implementing your own assets, configuring your models, developing stuff in the SDK so you can do your model in loops and your simulations and things like that. So here's the takeaway. Of course, SCANeR is a complete simulation solution. And then we're with you every step of the way. There's no part of your life cycle for your simulation needs that we're going to say like, oh no, you're on your own. Like if you reach out to us, we'll definitely make sure that we get you the assistance you need. And then of course, I'd also really quick like to walk you through some of the free resources that we offer with SCANeR. So first, I can actually just close this. And here, so this is the AVSimulation homepage. If you go to SCANeR up at the top down to free downloads, first you'll see the trial version and our quick starts. So our trial version, if you want to request a trial version, you can reach out to your representative, your SCANeR business executive, and get a download link, or you can fill out everything you need to here, and you'll be able to download. We also offer a quick starts guide. This essentially shows you everything I just showed you, how to get started with SCANeR, how to start using SCANeR, and then it walks you through kind of step by step. Um, there's screenshots, pictures, things you need, pretty detailed instructions that you need to get going. Then we also have, of course, on our YouTube page. If you just go to YouTube/AVSimulation, you can also just search AVSimulation in the search bar and find us. Um, if you subscribe, you'll get notifications for all kinds of different things. We have technical workshops, demos, interviews, meet the expert seminars where some experts from AVSimulation will kind of tell you about what goes into what they're doing at AVSimulation. There's a lot of really good workshops in here that you can learn some cool things from. So I definitely recommend it if you're just trying to get started with SCANeR. Of course, over on our GitHub, if you just go to GitHub/AVSimulation, we've got our SCANeR samples pack. So this is a big list of samples that'll teach you how to do all kinds of different things within SCANeR, like maybe setting up an AD8S module to run on your own, maybe linking your, like maybe using an RT target to link your own models. And then of course we've got our events. So the Get Started event, the one that's going on now, these will all be on our event calendar. So if you check, we've got our web events and our workshops, webinars, and then of course I also want to tell you guys all about SCANeR Day this year. So after a 2-year hiatus, we're finally able to go back to a live SCANeR Day that is going to be held just outside of Paris. There's, if you go to the events and then SCANeR Day section on our website, there's all kinds of information on that. If you're interested in going, you can just fill out this. We'd love to see you. We're really excited to get back to being a little more personal with our customers after the past 2 years and running the event online. So it'd be really nice to see as many people as we can. Um, yeah, that's. I hope you all had a good time. I hope you learned a lot about AVSimulation and more importantly, how SCANeR can help you guys with your projects. And don't hesitate. We're always looking forward. Always excited to help you out. So thank you again. And everybody enjoy the rest of your week.